in our live candidate debate forums. I'm Matt Kelly. This is part of our continuing coverage of election 2020, and we're pleased to be joined on this program by candidates for Vermont State Treasurer. I'm joined by Democrat incumbent Beth Pearce, Republican candidate Carolyn. Whitney Branagan, unfortunately, was unavailable to attend. Our format for this debate is pretty simple. We'll begin with an opening statement from Beth, and then she and I will enjoy a nice Q&A. This will be an opportunity for you, if you're watching our live YouTube stream, to dial in and ask a question directly of Beth. The number is 862-3966, and we welcome your participation. Beth, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to share the debate screen with you, and thank you for your continued desire to serve our great state. We'll begin here with an opening statement, 90 seconds, please.
Okay. Well, first, thank you very much, Matt, for inviting us. I enjoy being on your program. We've done that many years, and thank you for what you do for Vermont. And I want to thank the viewers and encourage them, remember to vote. This is the most critical election of our time, and get out there and vote. That's your voice. Do that. You know, I've been treasurer for 17 years. I've been in the treasurer's office for 17 years, first as your deputy, and then in 2011 as treasurer. I have 43 years of experience in government finance. For me, this is the love of my life. I enjoy doing the work of the Treasury, the work of government finance. For me, that's how I serve the public, and it's a pleasure and a privilege to be able to do that. You know, why I'm running, I have the expertise, the skill set, and the ability to work with others in a collaborative nature, and the commitment to get it done to serve Vermont. I'm a fiduciary and a safeguard the state's funds. We, at the same time, have been able to do innovative programs. The biggest challenge we're facing right now is COVID. People are afraid. They fear their safety, their security, their jobs may be in jeopardy. We need right now the ability, the expertise that I have to see us through that and to work together. And for me, we can do better. We can make sure that we serve the citizens, and we move past COVID to have a new normal, and that normal that helps every single person in Vermont. I'm proud of what we're doing, and I look forward to doing more.
Thank you so much for that. You indicated, COVID-19, and obviously the state is facing some major headwinds, some financial headwinds as a result of this. Can you kind of nutshell it a little bit for us in your role as state treasurer, what you see as the biggest challenge that's going to be facing the state in the next 2 years?
Well, I've been through other crises through my career. I was there for 9/11. And also Hurricane Irene. I'm very proud of the work we did in those very unfortunate events. This is the biggest health crisis and economic crisis facing Vermont, and in our lifetime over the last 100 years. And we need to have true professionalism through it. Now, we received $1.25 billion. And first and foremost, we needed to make sure that we could deposit that safely, collateralize the deposits, spread that around to the banks that we were able to work with so that we could get that out, managing cash flow, because we're going to be spending these monies, and you just can't call up a bank and say, oh, by the way, I'm taking $100 million out today. It just doesn't work that way. I'm also the chair, a group that I convened of select treasurers and comptrollers on the national level to work on the COVID issues and to clarify some of the provisions of the coronavirus relief fund. And we've been successful in doing that. We worked through our national associations, the National Association of Auditors, Comptrollers, and Treasurers, the National Association of Treasurers, working with the Council of State Governments to identify issues, bring them to the Inspector General, bring them to the U.S. Treasury, and bring them to the Office of Management and Budget, try to clarify those issues, which has helped other states as well as Vermont. And we've been able to communicate those both to the administration and the legislature. Proud of that work. We're also there to help agencies. As you know, we processed 8,000 checks when they got a little bit backlogged over at the Department of Labor. We stepped up to the plate and made that work. We're going to continue to do that.
Wonderful. Hey, Beth, the one question, that I am curious in your role, how do you think the state, if we can say that, has responded to the financial challenges that small businesses and other residents may be facing? How do you think that $1.2 billion or that number, how do you think it has been getting out to those that need it most? If you could kind of grade us.
Well, certainly. I think that we've done a good job. I think that overall, our response to COVID has been measured, well thought out, and I thank the administration and the legislature for what they've done there. I'm on the Vermont Economic Development Authority, their board, and they've been actively involved with businesses that are feeling some strain, and they're working with them. I'm proud of the work that they're doing. The staff there are exceptional. So some businesses need to have a little bit of room so they can catch up, work with them on perhaps extending their loans or working with them on new loans. They've been terrific in working through this, and they work very closely with the legislature to get that done. So that's one area. So I think that they and the banking community, I'm in contact with the banking community and what they're doing, some of the changes in the rules that we've seen. We've been able to do that. Where the pandemic initiatives have lagged is with state and local government assistance. The federal government has not provided the type of assistance for revenue replacement. And towns, cities across the country and in Vermont are feeling the pinch. The state is feeling the pinch. Now, we were very fortunate because we had money in reserves to get us through this particular year and into 21. It's going to be a rougher year in 22. But I've been working, yes.
So I actually want to stay on that a little bit, if you don't mind, Beth.
Absolutely.
Do you have maybe a word of advice? I don't want to say caution, so to speak, but maybe a word of advice for the legislature for the upcoming biennium?
Certainly. So, one of the things that folks have acknowledged, I've had many conversations with both appropriations committees and the finance committee, Ways and Means, is that we need to be prudent because that's how we were able to get through this in the first place. We had reserves. We put money in rainy day funds. We were very careful about paying our bills, the actuarially determined contribution, for instance, for the pension funds. So we acted well with fiscal discipline in the past. That has served us with COVID, and we need to do the same going forward. Now, some folks say to me, well, we should borrow our way out. There is no way to borrow yourself out of a deficit. It doesn't work. So we need to have the fiscal discipline going forward, and we need to use smart finance and look at ways that we can be more cost effective with our dollars. I believe that can be done. We've had that challenge before with revenues during the Great Recession. We were able to manage through that process. And for me, that is a real star in the scorecard for the state of Vermont. I'm pleased to be part of that. We've worked with the legislature on advocating those fiscal discipline initiatives. We're working together. That's so important. We will get through this. And on the other side, have a new normal. We'll have a normal that says that we can do more for our citizens. One of the things that I say in our office, our mission is that we want to make sure that every single person in Vermont, every single person has an opportunity for a lifetime of financial well-being. You want it for your family. You want it for your neighbors. I want it for every single person in Vermont. That's our overwhelming goal, our core on which we do business, and the message that we give to the legislature. We can do more on that in the new normal.
Beth, there's been a call to divest from fossil fuels, a lot of the state's investments, and that would certainly have some underlying impact to the pension system, the pension payout. Can you address that and the investment in vehicles that are politically correct or do no damage, let's say?
Okay, so let's start with the issue of climate change. Climate change is real, it's acute, and it's going to involve all of us. It's going to involve the private sector, the public sector, businesses across this state. Every individual, every organization will need to be involved in a concerted effort to address climate change. Our office is committed to that. At the same time, we're committed to that core, again, having everybody in this state have an opportunity for financial well-being. That includes all the public service staff, across the state, the 50,000 active, vested, and retired members. We want to make sure that they have adequate income, reliable income in retirement, and that the money will be there. And it is there. Despite all the sensationalism about our pensions, we do have the ability to pay and a plan to move forward. We need to work harder, but we can do that. But the bottom line for me is that we need to balance all of those issues. We need to have retirement security and at the same time address climate change. So we brought in a variety of groups, nonprofits, others. We had a group of about 30 when we first started this to define the scope of a study. And we worked very closely with VPIRG, the Sierra Club, a company called Clean Yield, which does fantastic work, by the way, and a field representatives from 350. And we asked them to help us with a study. They helped pick the vendor for the study, the investment consultant, happened to be one called Pension Consulting Associates. They did a report. They heard from the fuel industry. They heard from the advocates. The only rule that I had was that if you share information with PCA, you shared it with the other groups as well. It was so everybody had equal access to the information. We stepped back and let that process go through. Ultimately, the consultant said that going for divestment in our portfolio would cost significant dollars and would create additional diversification risk. We took the next step. We said, okay, what do we do from here? Because I do believe that we need to address climate change. So I created a 5-point plan to lower our carbon footprint and submitted that to the Vermont Pension Investment Committee. I'm one member of 7 on that committee, but I took this seriously, brought it to the committee, and they take it seriously as well. We want to balance our fiduciary responsibility with with what we can do with climate change. So we've initiated a 5-part plan. And we have annually an ESG report, environmental, social, and governance report on our website to show you the progress we've made on that plan. In addition to that, if it's okay, I know we're running out of time on this, but we've done a process where we are now advocating with the companies across the country. So shareholder engagement. We're filing shareholder resolutions to try to move the dial with companies on the issues of climate change. I went to the Exxon Mobil meeting a few years back, and I was able to tell the chairman at the time that I thought that his approach to renewables was wholly inadequate, and have put through and worked with different shareholder resolutions to try to make change.
Wonderful. Thank you, Beth. The role of the state treasurer, it's a non-political role. It is not appointed by the governor. But it is a elected position, which the election takes place in a partisan atmosphere. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of share with us the dichotomy of that, the independence that the position requires from the governor's office, yet it requires an election every 2 years?
Certainly. So first and foremost, I'm a Democrat. And I believe in those democratic values. And when I take a look at what's happening in DC in the White House, for instance, I'm appalled. And we need to recognize that this is having an impact on all of us. It's pushed the Republican Party in a different direction. And we need, frankly, to address that. And again, your vote is critical to that. So viewers, please vote and recognize that this is the most important election of your lifetime. So I am a Democrat. I believe in those values. At the same time, politics is left at the door. We do not bring that into the office. From our end, we are what I refer to as an equal opportunity data provider. We give the administration information, we give the legislature the same information. We work with the various agencies and provide the data that they need to make decisions. We provide recommendations to them, and we work to develop solutions. That's what it's about, doing the good work in an objective fashion, data-driven, and that's what our office is about. And I have the best staff in the state to make that happen. They're terrific, they work hard, they're knowledgeable, and I have the expertise, the requisite skills to make that happen, and I'm proud of the work we do. You know, we talk a little bit about election versus appointment. I think you get the best of both worlds in me. I'm an professional, 43 years of professional experience in government finance and elected. So for me, I think it's a good balance, and I'm proud of the staff that we've been able to assemble in the process. So the good work will continue.
Well, it goes so quickly, our debate forums here. We're already at the end of our time here. So if you could go ahead and wrap up your candidacy and give us a closing statement about the work that you've done, what you really see is coming for the next 2 years, how maybe the role may change and how you're poised to address it.
Well, again, I do have the expertise. This is a commitment that I have in my life, my personal life and my professional life. I'm committed to government service and doing the good work to assist the taxpayers and all of the people in Vermont. We are the custodian of those dollars. I take that seriously. I want to continue to do that. I ask for your support, to the viewers, and please vote, because again, that's your voice. I ask you for your consideration. I'm a professional. I want to continue to do that good work.
Wonderful. My thanks to Beth Pearce, Vermont State Treasurer, Democrat incumbent, running once again for re-election. We thank her for her years of service and for joining us here this evening. A reminder that early voting is already underway here in our great state. You can vote by mail. Just check your mailbox and complete and mail your ballot before the deadline. Or you can vote in person on Tuesday, November 3rd. And join us for complete election night details beginning at 7 p.m. right here on Town Meeting Television. For all of us at TMT, we thank you for watching.